Rob and I both fully believe that the Last Supper in the Gospels is a Passover meal. I've done a lot of work on this. My father has done a lot of work on this. I've written on this. You can find my timeline on growinginmessiah.com and under resources. It's in PDF format. You can grab that. There's a lot of work that's been done on this. And after a while, I just finally decided I can't keep having these conversations. Every year it's the same thing, right? Every year it's the same arguments and whatnot. Well, one of the arguments, and this was the first time I ever saw this argument, was actually by Zach Bauer in his in his Five Nails in the Coffin, why the Last Supper is not a Passover meal. And one of that, which is it was just, I mean,
wow. I wonder, has that aged well?
No, it has not.
Is that person still on that front?
Oh yeah, I think so. He's very convinced. But the funny thing is that his arguments are all just. I mean, I think Zach has a real heart for the Lord. I do. I think that he really loves the Lord. I think that he also has very little training, and it shows deeply when he says stuff like that. With all of that said, this was the first time I saw this argument. And the argument is this, that it goes something like this. Now, I don't believe this, obviously, but the argument goes, well, the Last Supper could not be a Passover meal because the word artos, which means bread, is used in reference to the bread that Yeshua takes in Mark. I think it's in Mark 14. He takes the artos, the bread, and he breaks it. And artos, as the argument goes, artos means bread, and since unleavened bread is commanded for Passover, obviously this couldn't be a Passover meal.
Because this person is a Greek lexicographer, obviously.
And the person who actually put this up online, I mean, I couldn't even read their second comment because they got like P103 says that, and it's like, what are you? And then I realized they're using strong numbers. Put down your Strong's number, pick up a concordance. Anyway. The reason that this is ridiculous is because it was refuted back in 1912. Let's read this. By the way, if you haven't read this book and you want to do any work in this is the very first book that everyone needs to read. And the reason why is because everyone references this book. This book is a standard and has been a standard since the 70s. I'm saying his name wrong, but this is you can see all the notes that I have in it. Not because I agree with him on everything, but just because this is the standard. It's called Joachim, I think it is, Jeremias, and it's called the Eucharistic Words of Jesus. And he goes through all sorts of different arguments and whatnot. He lays out 11 arguments that are given on why the Last Supper is not a Passover meal, and then he refutes all of them. The first one on page 62 is this argument, and I'm just going to read some of this for you. Ever since a short study by J. Wellhausen appeared in 1906. This is why it's a little... Okay, anyway. It has been frequently contended that the Last Supper could not have been a Passover meal because Mark 14:22 and following speaks of bread, artos, whereas only unleavened bread could properly be used in describing a Passover meal. Unleavened bread cannot be designated bread, artos. That's how the argument goes. I don't know what's going on with my throat here. But not one of the numerous writers who have repeated Wellhausen's thesis has taken the trouble to check it. Although as early as 1912, G. Beer had seriously challenged it. As a matter of fact, the contention that unleavened bread cannot be called bread, artos, is incorrect. Quite apart from the possibility of a mere inaccuracy in the report when Mark 14:22 and following speaks of bread, or from the fact that the Eucharistic practice of the earliest churches, which used ordinary leavened bread, might have led to some inaccuracy of expression, it has to be stated that the word lechem and artos, so lechem is the Hebrew word, artos is the Greek word for bread, could be used of both leavened and unleavened bread. Let's stop for a second. How many people at their Passover Seder this last Saturday night said the hamotzi? Said
exactly.
Said the prayer over the bread.
Lechem.
Yeah. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam hamotzi lechem min haaretz. It's in every single Passover Seder Siddur. Now, I'm not saying that a tradition that holds true today was extant in the first century. In fact, I don't think that. However, the point is that Judaism...
The protest would make just as much sense.
Exactly.
If for them to say...
The Jews aren't celebrating...
How dare the rabbis use the word lechem?
Oh, my word. I can't... These Jews aren't celebrating a Passover
nail in
meal.
the coffin, buddy.
It's a nail in the coffin right there. Nail in the coffin that the Jews are not celebrating a Passover meal. Let's go on real quick here, and I'm almost done with it.
You know what? It's our educational system's fault. I mean,
Okay.
we don't know. We don't think to rehearse. To research and we take a sensationalist message and run with it, and we run the flag up the pole as if we are like championing the truth, when in fact we're demonstrating our failure to do due diligence.
In respect to the person who left this comment, first of all, this person is working out of Strong's Concordance, and so they try to do their due diligence. The unfortunate part is you need to get out of your Strong's Concordance and grab a lexicon. You're not going to, first of all. Second of all.
Yeah, and you need to gain some basic skills in the language, even to just, the strong numbers do not help. Like I've had people email me just like Caleb, G1234 versus H012 or whatever. And it's like, this means nothing.
Yeah, I have no clue what you're talking about. But the other thing is that I've realized that, you know what, I do the same thing. So I can't be too hard on people. What I do is I talk about passages of scripture that I have not fully sat down, looked at commentaries, opened up the Greek or the Hebrew and fully looked at. So I wondered even this past week, like how many videos do we have up where it's like somebody who's like made this their PhD dissertation, this passage, their PhD dissertation is sitting there going, these guys have no clue what they're talking about. And that's certainly possible.
It probably is true.
Okay. Let's keep going real quick, and then we'll...
and then, you know what? They can make a video and laugh at us, and hopefully we'll learn it. We'll watch the video, and we'll go, oh, okay, we're wrong.
Yep. It can further be shown that it was quite the common practice to call unleavened bread simply bread, that is lechem or artos. Decisive proof of this in view of the extraordinary abundance of testimony, and he gives abundant testimony on the next page, is the description of the 12 loaves of the showbread, which were arranged on their special table in the sanctuary of the temple. The showbread is constantly referred to as artos in the Septuagint, and the showbread is unleavened bread. Thank you so much for watching this video. Tell us your thoughts on this subject by leaving a comment in the comment section. Make sure you like, share, subscribe, and enable those notifications, and we'll see you in the next video.